I just want to enjoy honk honk, but I can't now that I know the subtext of Clown World. Why must Nazis ruin everything? Here, all you have to do is watch Honk Honk 2, the hit sequel. Bad take, Vaush? No, it's not. This is a cornerstone of being a rational person, and I want people in my audience to be rational people. You should always be open to having your mind changed, and whatever standards you set for credibility have to be set equally across all sides. If you say flat out, I will never have my mind changed by a Nazi, what you are essentially saying to the Nazis listening is, no matter how good their arguments, the reason why you say you don't like them isn't because those arguments are bad, it's because you're just not going to listen to them. You're essentially admitting defeat ideologically. What if they're deliberately trying to be bad faith actors and manipulate you just because you don't have a counter argument? Yeah, that's why you have to have a strong mind. And you can be incredulous of certain groups of people if they have a propensity towards lying and using bad faith arguments, but that is why it is important to build up a strong mind so that you can make the arguments necessary to disprove Nazi arguments, not on some baseline epistemological, oh, they're Nazis, therefore they're bad level, but rather on a more consistent, this is why these arguments are unreasonable, this is why I don't listen to them. The cause and effect why Nazis are bad is completely reversed here, Vaush. Yeah, exactly. Nazi arguments aren't bad because they come from Nazis. Nazis are bad because of the arguments they make. Get your shit in order. I am not interested in cultivating a community of irrational people. Can't you say by definition the chances of a Nazi making a good argument are so low that keeping an open mind is more of a rhetorical position? To an extent, but if you hear a Nazi make a point that you unironically cannot come up with a counter argument for, you should be willing to entertain the possibility that they're right. This is not a cult, okay? I'm not going to tell you what cults will tell you, all right? Never listen to the enemy. They're always wrong. Everything they say to you will be lies. Now, it is true that Nazis always lie. That's on them. I don't know why they keep doing that. It's because their arguments are bad. But if you ever say that you're just flat out not willing to listen to a group of people, you're not willing to listen to a certain set of arguments, you're conceding the point right then and there. You're literally saying to everyone listening, hey, it doesn't matter how rational my opponent is, because I feel like I'm right and I'm not going to listen to anyone else. Arguments like minorities are subhuman because tradition, well, there are many good counter-arguments that could be made against that. What about Nazi propaganda? I can debunk every piece of Nazi propaganda ever put out into the world at any point in history. I'm familiar enough with Nazi arguments to be able to crush them at any point. I feel like expecting any group of humans to be rational in the whole is a bit unrealistic, sadly. It might be unrealistic, but I can have high standards and high expectations for my audience's behavior. I'm serious about this. I care very strongly. I don't want you people to just be irrational. Oh, why do I hate this or that? Oh, well, it's because the people who made the arguments are bad people. That's circular logic. You shouldn't do it. The greatest defense you can possibly have against bad rhetoric, Nazi or otherwise, is by being open-minded and intelligent. It's that simple. My job as a content creator is to encourage people to think in ways that benefit us, okay? Like, I'm trying to encourage good modes of thought. That's why when I make videos on Nazis, I don't go in there and say, this is a Nazi argument, that's bad. Nazis are bad. Do you know what happened to Nazis last time you fuckers came out? We rocked your asses back in the 40s. Get back in your fucking bunkers, Nazis. Get out of here. Milkshakes on the ready. Let's go. Because these aren't arguments. I don't make those arguments. I don't, and I hate those arguments. They're not useful. They're not good. I instead point out how the points they're making are irrational, how the points they're making are hypocritical, how they're making bad faith arguments, how they're presenting Mott and Bailey's, how they're lying about their own points. Because in doing so, by indicating that my opponents are irrational, I am giving you all the tools necessary to be able to critique them on a more substantive ground than, oh, yikes, it's a Nazi. Am I justified in having a certain prejudice against them? Of course. Please be prejudiced against them. But You can still take arguments from people you're prejudiced against. What's that phrase? Horrible news, worst person you know makes good point. Yeah, well, for of all, I keep an open mind, but I don't need to waste time entertaining Nazi points because I've heard the moment a Nazi opens their mouth and they've made like a sentence or two, mouth words, I already know what argument that they're going to make and I know what's wrong with it. So I don't need to waste time entertaining their arguments because I know what's wrong with them from the get-go. Super ACP, I love you. It's true though. It's true though. If you're the kind of person who just like doesn't want to accept like critical thinking and you just want to like hear the things that you're arguing about, you know, like, oh, they're good. Like, I don't want you in my community. You're bad. Like, you're really toxic to discourse. You make the left weaker. You make us look like a bunch of emotional crybabies who can't form good counter-arguments. Stop it. And to an extent, that stereotype is right because of people like you. Stop it. Nazis are bad because of their arguments. Their arguments aren't bad because they're Nazis. All right, what are we talking about? Also, can we fuck off with the polls? There's been like a poll every 30 seconds. Okay, LTS, you need to fuck off with that shit. Nice one, LTS. Seriously though, fuck off with the polls. Sake Tanuki with the $10. God damn it, I just want to enjoy honk honk, but I can't now that I know the subtext of Clown World. Why must Nazis ruin everything? Here, look, easy. Okay, look, if you want honk honk but good, here, all you have to do is watch Honk Honk 2, the hit sequel. I didn't change the thing, did I? No, I didn't. There we go. There we go. Now that's a good-ass meme. Oh, wait. Known communist Sargon of Akkad, my good friend, recently put out a good one, too. God damn. One more time. It's really good.